Indeed, we're still on the matter of security, and right now we're being joined by Engineer Saleh Al-Hassan, who is the National Secretary of the Miyetti Allah Kautahori Fulani Socio-Cultural Association. Thank you so much for joining us now, studios here in Abuja.
Thank you for having me.
Well, just on Friday, I think it was Friday, November the 3rd, no, this is November the 30th, yes? We understand that the Miyetti Allah has pledged to work with security agencies across the length and breadth of the country. Is that your own association, or because I know that there are two MACBANs? There's MACBAN Kautahori and there's just MACBAN. Was this your own MACBAN?
No, it's not our organization, but notwithstanding, I think collaborating with security agencies is a welcome development. Our associations have been collaborating with security agencies, international organizations, in the quest to find sustainable peace across the country over the years. And I think it's a welcome development to renew these collaborations in view of the increasing insecurity we have across the land.
Indeed, but it would seem that before now, there have been, there have been obstacles to it. This insecurity that have now ravaged parts of, not just the northern part of Nigeria, but parts of the Middle Belt, and has now resulted in these claims of genocide or no genocide, has come as a result of, let's say, some of the disputes that you are also aware of. I don't know how it is that your association is reading recent developments and how it would seem that Fulani cattle herders have been painted in recent times.
It's very unfortunate with the current ongoing media narratives. But if we must be honest in this country, if there is anything close to genocide in Nigeria, it's genocide against the Fulani pastoralists. I'll give you my reasons. In the last 25 years, across the country, from Plateau to Benue to Zamfara to Kebbi State, pastoralists have been deliberately targeted, killed, displaced, and some state governors even enacted laws that criminalize pastoralism. We have been doing forensic documentation on the atrocities committed on pastoralists across the country. But as an organization that have been campaigning for peace, we are in support of all government efforts to ensure that there is sustainable peace across the country. But let me also sound that those genocide town criers, they are looking for foreign aids. You can't bring a scenario that happened in 2008 without taking the history into context, and you start shouting genocide. Look at the Bishop of Makurdi Diocese that took the case to the United States. What he's looking for is foreign aids. He failed to contextualize the actual conflict. We have national human rights commissions, we have institutions in Nigeria. The Senate invited organizations to present memoranda on how to solve the farmer herder crisis. Up to now, we have not been invited by the Senate to discuss that memoranda. But I want to state again that if there is anything close to a genocide in Nigeria, it's genocide against the Fulani pastoralists. Since Trump made that proclamation in the last 3 weeks, pastoralists have been devastated in Kebbi State. They have been attacked in Niger State, in Benue State, even when it is the locals that attacked the citizens there. Pastoralists were destroyed, and not a single word from the security agencies, not even the media. We will continue pretending.
Sorry, pastoralists were destroyed where? In Kebbi State?
In Kebbi State in the last 2 weeks. I'm giving you recent instances.
In the last 2 weeks?
3 weeks.
3 weeks?
Yes. We have attack on pastoralists in Kebbi State. No action was taken. Attack of pastoralists in Niger State. No action was taken. Attack on pastoralists in Benue State, or Himini local government precisely. For crime they have not committed.
Pastoralists in Benue State?
Yes.
Well, Benue State has since prohibited open grazing.
You see, that is the contradiction. You cannot legislate against a livelihood without an alternative. So if you say they have prohibited open grazing, now, if there are conflicts in Benue, you accuse a pastoralist. After investigation, you will discover that even the locals are responsible for it. So what I'm saying is that there should be a holistic security approach to finding the perpetrators of this conflict. Yes, we can have some of the headers involved in the conflict, but the way the conflict is being viewed as if the pastoralists are out there to kill, destroy people, that is not the truth. That is not the narrative.
Okay. Can I ask you?
Yes.
Pastoralists and farmers, have you been seeing the clashes between them in places like Benue and Plateau?
Yes.
Do you, when you see those mass burials or the numbers of people that have been killed, do you dispute those figures?
Well, it's not a question of disputing what people claim, but for you to look at the conflict and contextualize it, because it's different from...
But there have been killings.
There have been killings, counter killings, there have been killings and reprisals. Pastoralists have been killed, farmers have been killed. Security agencies have their reports.
Yeah.
That is why I want the media to first and foremost find out what is the first security report of the crisis, not what evangelicals that are looking for foreign aids are shouting.
On that point, yes, because you accused particularly the Bishop of the Benue Diocese, yes, of asking for aid. What kind of aid do you think he's asking for?
They have been surviving on foreign donor aids. And with the Trump administration coming to say, look, we are cutting aids to foreign countries, they now have to find a way to curry sympathy. It's a pure propaganda.
Despite the fact that you've admitted here that people are being killed.
You see, there are farmer-herder conflicts. There are communal conflicts going on across the country. Nobody can deny that. But the point I want to point out to you is that you must understand those town criers that are going on with genocide, town crying. What are they after?
They say that they are after help from whatever form. In fact, they have said it's not just Donald Trump that they are. If the Trump came from the Shah of Iran, they would take it. They just want the killing of their people to stop.
Everybody wants the killings to stop. We equally want the killing of pastoralists to stop. We have National Human Rights Commission. We have the Nigerian Senate. We have all the institutions in this country. You bypass them. You go and submit a defective report. What they call as genocide is a profound falsehood they are parading. Because if there is anything close to genocide, if you go through the records, it's the systematic killing of pastoralists, displacement of pastoralists in their place of livelihoods, enactment of satanic laws that seem to criminalize their business, and everybody is pretending.
You say satanic laws. Let me quickly take you up on this, because you know, when you came into the studio, my colleague was introducing, and I said, no, we have been on this conversation for quite a while. It's been a long time since we have had the occasion to discuss with you. But this conversation has been on for a long time. I remember when Governor Ayo Fayose was the governor of Ekiti State. He was the first person to say, look, this way of life this way of life can no longer go in tandem with modern reality. And so he was putting a stop to open grazing in his state. It was very controversial at the time, but in no time we saw the governor of Benue State also follow suit. That was during the time of Otom. And he also followed suit, but it caused great conflict. We also saw the federal government try to intervene by introducing something he called Druga, which it would seem also, you know, was not very well, like it became controversial. You know, it was in a bid to get the pastoralists to settle down. But generally, the consensus right now, the consensus that is gaining ground is that this way of life is no longer sustainable. And that because of the amount of conflict it is causing in many places, you have also admitted that Fulani pastoralists have been victims. And people who do not want, you know, especially those of Nigerian descent, you know, to be caught up in some sort of warfare. Because some people have said, oh, look, what is actually happening is that there is conflict within the Nigerian space. Maybe when one of these pastoralists, the local pastoralists is caught up in a conflict, what happens is that they inform those who are outside, and it is those who are outside who come and, you know, commit the massacre that we see. Sometimes on communities that had no business with what had been done. So in your own mind, are you in agreement with those who say that this way of life is no longer sustainable How is that going down amongst the community people whom you represent?
You see, we support the initiative from the Federal Ministry of Livestock Development to gradually implement ranching, which will take a period of time. Before a people, it has to take a period. Now we have keyed into the federal government initiative of using the existing grazing reserves to develop ranches and gradually sedentarize the pastoralists, put in the infrastructure, the necessary education in place, and then the funding. But for you to wake up overnight, you say you must stop an economic activity, you must criminalize pastoralism. It will not work. It does not work anywhere. That is why when they formed those laws, we came here, we shouted, we said, it will not bring about peace. Down the line, how many years have we gotten the peace? Either in Benue or in any other place that they think they have those laws. That will say it's not about the law. It's about government intention deliberately to manage the land resources and ensure there is sustainable use among competing groups that need the land. As we have it today, we have a Ministry for Livestock Development. What we are calling for is also there should be a legislation and an enforcement of a pastoralism act that legalize pastoralism as a legitimate trade so that government will invest and develop it. Today, if you look at the net imports we have from just dairy, it's in billions.
Pastoralism as a legitimate trade, by that you mean cattle roaming up and down?
No, you see, when you say cattle roaming up and down, you oversimplify it. Cattle move because they have to access fodder. Now we have grazing reserves that were mapped out since the First Republic. This government is making an effort to recover those grazing reserves. Before those grazing reserves are developed and then the pastoralists settle in those grazing reserves, there should be a process.
Well, the minister said that they're even starting, the Minister of Livestock Development, I mean, they're even starting further business, you know, for people who want to be a part of the value chain. You're absolutely correct. It will take some time. And the minister explained this, that it's going to take some time, but that's the way to go. But you see, one of the things that you've been talking about is the criminalization of pastoralism or making laws. You even called them satanic laws. But I want to be able to get you to understand that many times when they see videos, even we who are here, see videos of pastoralists carrying AK-47 in the bushes, those are reasons enough for people to be scared and want to say, look, we don't want these sorts of elements in our communities. They're carrying weapons. What do you say to that?
That is where the problem is. Those carrying weapons are not the pastoralists.
They're not part of Nakban. They're not part of anything.
Those are criminals. And you cannot lump the pastoralists with criminal elements that live in the forest because they share the same geography.
But they're carrying cows with them.
No, you see, those cows may even end up being roasted from the pastoralists. These people that kidnap for ransom are not pastoralists. They are not our members. I'm not oblivious of the security situation in the country, but it's not being perpetrated by pastoralists. Pastoralists are even the first line of victims of these criminals. These are criminal gangs protecting mining sites, rustling cattle that have been scored. These are jihadist elements. How can you lump them to be pastoralists?
So isn't this in the interest of the pastoralists that these things are done as quickly as possible? Because clearly they are also a target.
If today the government will provide these ranches, we'll be the first people to mobilize the pastoralists into the ranching areas to graze there. And it's modernization. But when you said it's a private business, go and ranch, you can't even get the land to ranch. It's a process that must take some time. And we're in full support of the government initiatives. But what we will not take is for the insecurity in the country to be hung on the neck of the pastoralists. It's a double jeopardy.
So a Trump intervention would even be in your benefits, no?
A Trump?
Yes, if Donald Trump comes, if we get the support from the American government to fight these bandits they're ruining the relationship between pastoralists and farmers. They're attacking farmers, killing people, and also killing your people as well. Isn't that a good thing? Why are you so against this?
Personally, me, I will not support Trump because he has blood of Gazans dripping on his fingers. He has never intervened anywhere that you see peace. But if they want to engage the Nigerian state, is it after a town crier have cried genocide looking for it that they will act? The Nigerian government have a robust diplomatic relationship with the U.S. it should not be on this reactive nature. Probably what they are doing, they also want to push their own interests. They may be looking for a military base in Nigeria. I only pray this government will not cave into their pressure and grant them that military base, because it will bring destruction and violence. All of the places they have gone, what do you see? Trail of blood, killings, and genocides.
We don't have a lot of time left. Well, this is where we currently are. A new Minister of Defense has been appointed. This administration appointed and created a new Ministry of Livestock simply to look after, farmers who are looking after animals. You say they're pastoralists. Some people say there's a whole trade called animal husbandry. And, but how is this idea that, pastoralists are going to have to move from being pastoralists to those who look after animals in a sedentary fashion, to this animal husbandry trade? How is it sitting down with your members? Is this something that they are looking forward to, or something that they are kicking against?
We are very optimistic to be part of the modernization process. We are looking forward to it. We are ready to key in. And let me say that we are happy with the rejigging of the Ministry of Defense. We hope the new minister, having a military background, having experience, who have also cared for livestock in the course of his military career, will understand these challenges facing the pastoralists. Two groups of people may not be happy with the new defense minister. Those that are crying genocide and keen into the narrative of Christian genocide may have been defeated by disappointment. The next group is the Biafra agitators that want to see that there is continuous discontent in the Nigerian state. So we are happy with this new development, and we are ready to give both the defense minister and the minister of livestock total support so that our pastoralists will have peace, live peacefully in Nigeria, and do their business. And we are calling on government to provide necessary funding for the livestock ministry. It's a ministry that can generate not only revenue, but employment for millions of Nigerian youths.
How do you react to the news that your association might be #1 on the list of those who will be given a U.S. visa ban?
Are we even interested in going to U.S.? Do we keep money in dollars? You see, we are struggling with subsistence, how to survive. You see, all these misconceptions are wrong narratives. How do you classify an organization or a country without listening to the people? Have they called us to hear from us? We have a forensic
Have you tried to submit your own?
We have submitted our response to the U.S. Assembly. We have submitted it. We have also written to the Ministry of Justice. We have stated our position clearly. We have evidence. We have data. If there is anything close to genocide in the crisis in Nigeria, it's the genocide on the pastoralists.
Well, we certainly will keep tabs on this development. We have to thank you very much for coming on Sunrise Daily this morning. Engineer Saleh Al-Hassan is the National Secretary of the Miyetti Allah Kauta Hore Fulani Sociocultural Association. Thank you so much for coming on Sunrise Daily.
Thank you.
Well, that's where we anchor on Thursday's edition of Sunrise Daily. We have to thank you so much for being a part of the program. I'm Maope Ogunyusuf.
Have a great day ahead. Stay safe. I'm Kayla Megwa.
On top of the hour's business morning.